All right, so I'm just in here a little bit early. Anybody pops in or whatever, and just kind of hanging out solo, messing with controls, wondering about lives. Welcome to the stream. I'm just in here early, messing around with some stuff. Uh, Hello, welcome to the chat. I'm in here a little bit early, but thanks for joining. Right now, I'm just looking at Brian Laundrie's Instagram. He should have fell off. or got stuck. They did a lot of traveling. And here's the infamous post. My biggest fear is that one day I'll wake up and it will all have been a dream, because that is what every second has felt like since the moment we found each other. Till death do us part, or until I wake up. I'm so happy the answer was yes. Love you, honey. Definitely some weirdness going on there. Thanks for joining. I'm just kind of looking at Brian Laundrie's Instagram posts while I'm waiting for the chat to get started. There's some weird drawings on here. Who watches The Watchmen? Teacher drama. Things you used to own, now they own you. Hand painted piano done by my fiance and me, found on a bike ride, decorated with plants we find hiking. Hmm, it definitely transformed it. Welcome to the stream. This is Brian Laundrie's Instagram. I'm just going through it, looking at pictures. Okay. The ghoulish faces of Adam and Barbara from one of my favorite Tim Burton movies, Beetlejuice. Final cut. Sandwich. On wheels. New van means new adventures. December 2020. Okay, so this is the first Instagram post from their road trip. Downsizing our life to fit into this itty bitty van decision we've ever made. Basically wanted to take advantage of every definitely felt inspired by a lot of came up with a completely original layout. Barely spent anything on the conversation on the conversation and couldn't be happier with the outcome. Hashtag van tour coming soon. Sacrificing space to wake up in nature every day has been no sacrifice at all. Cross country road trip with Gabby Petito. Hood Rat, welcome back. Glad to see you. And I'm just going through Brian Petito. I mean, I am so sorry. Gabby. I did not mean to offend you. I am going through Brian Laundrie's Instagram posts, just kind of hanging out until people start coming in. And so I've made it to the first post, their road trip that they were on. Is my audio lagging? At the time when I'm saying this, I'm looking at the picture of him and her in front of the van, like in front of this arch. on that van trip, and he's with no shoes on. Apparently, that's his thing. The audio came out today. The 911 call, well, yesterday it came out, but happening at what Gabby or even Brian said. I'm gonna play that 911 audio.
Sheriff's office.
Were you able to get a description of the intoxication?
Hi, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, I'm calling. I'm right on the corner of Main Street by Moonflower, and we're driving by, and I'd like to report a domestic dispute. Florida with the white van, Florida license plate, white land, gentleman,
Where's it at?
5'6", beard. They just drove off. They're going down Main Street. They made a right onto Main Street from Moonflower.
Or what were they doing?
Cooperative, but what do you say?
What were they doing?
We drove by and it was slapping the girl.
He was slapping her?
Yes, and then we stopped. They ran up and down the sidewalk. He proceeded to hit her, hopped in the car, and they drove off.
Grant County Sheriff's Office. Were you able to get a description of the intoxication?
Hi, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, I'm calling. I'm right on the corner of Main Street by Moonflower, and we're driving by, and I'd like to report a domestic dispute. Florida with the white van, Florida license plate, white land, gentleman,
Where's it at?
5'6", beard. They just drove off. They're going down Main Street. They made a right onto Main Street from Moonflower.
Or what were they doing?
Cooperative, but what do you say?
What were they doing?
We drove by and the gentleman was slapping the girl.
He was slapping her?
Yes, and then we stopped. They ran up and down the sidewalk. He proceeded to hit her, hopped in the car, and they drove off.
So is it just me, or does the 911 call taker sound like they have everything else in the world more important to do than take this 911 call? Like, he sounded like he was so just, I don't want to be bothered. But the thing was how that story that the 911 caller gave was so different. He's saying that he saw Brian assaulting Gabby, and that he saw Brian push her and slap her. I'm gonna pull back up that first part of their conversation. Hi, Brian. Welcome to the chat. You can talk all the crap you want, but if you get to trolling and getting on my nerves, I'll just block you. Yeah, pretty much. I wasn't there. I didn't see it. I'm just talking about what's being reported. Anyway, gotta love trolls. I shouldn't have fed it. But I'm gonna pull up the body cam footage, and I'm just gonna play that like first part where he and her are telling the officers what was going on. Oh, body cam.
If you suffer from diabetes type 2 or pre-diabetes, this might be the most important video you ever watched. Top doctor from Arizona has discovered
That is just so weird.
Driver is showing some obscure driving, possibly intoxicated. Currently doing 45 miles an hour. You want to place your vehicle into park and go ahead and turn it off for me? No, park? Oh, it isn't park yet. Okay, turn off your engine. Go ahead and set your keys on the dash for me, all right? What's your guys' names?
Gabby.
Brian. Gabby, Brian? Okay. What's going on? How come you're crying?
I'm just sorry. We've just been fighting this morning. Some personal issues.
It was a long day. We were camping yesterday, and camping got the stuff, flies and stuff. I'm sorry I hit the bump there.
I was distracting him from driving. I'm sorry.
Can I get you to step out of the vehicle for me, man?
Yeah.
Just hang tight right there. Do you mind if I take your keys and just put them on your hood?
Yeah, I'm so
Thank
sorry.
you. Oh, no, you're fine. I'm going to go ahead and close your door, okay? Why don't you come over here? SO229, I had the female that was in the passenger seat separated from the male. Keys are on the hood. You want to tell me what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just some days I have really bad OCD, and I was just cleaning and straightening up back of the van before, and I was apologizing to him and saying, I'm sorry that I'm so mean, because sometimes I have OCD and sometimes I just get really frustrated. Not like mean towards him, I just like, I guess my vibe is like,
I want to know, I'm wondering how much information these officers had when they went out to this 911 call, because we heard the 911 caller and they were really clear that they were witnessing a domestic violence incident where a female was being assaulted by a male. So they find them, they pull them over. The female is obviously upset. The guy is calm, cool, and collected. And they're believing a story where she was beating up on him. I mean, I'm wondering how much did the 911 dispatcher communicate to the officer about what the caller said about what they saw?
I had to be like in a bad mood. And I was just saying, I'm sorry if I'm in a bad mood. I've just been really stressed. I had so much work I was doing on my computer this morning.
What do you do for a living?
Well, I used to work at an organic juice bar, but I just quit my job.
Okay.
I was a nutritionist. That's what that was my
That's
job.
cool.
And I just quit my job because I travel across the country, and I'm trying to start a blog. I just have a blog and stuff. So I've been building my website. So I've been really stressed, and he doesn't really believe that I could do any of it. So that's kind of been like I don't know. He's like down there. I don't know. We've just been fighting all morning, and he wouldn't let me in the car before.
And she just said right there, we've been fighting all morning.
Why wouldn't he let you in the car? Because of
Told me
your
I
OCD?
told me I needed to calm down. Yeah. But I'm perfectly calm. I'm calm all the time. And he really stresses me out. And this is a rough morning.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't I sit you down in the back seat of my car? You're not in any trouble, okay? I'm not going to be putting handcuffs on you. You obviously don't have any weapons. I'm going to get you into the air conditioning, let you take a breath, relax a little bit, and then I'll come back and talk to you in a few minutes, okay?
Okay.
All right. Like I said, you're not in any trouble. So just go ahead and take a seat. Watch your feet. What's that? Yeah, I just spoke to her. So, you want to do me a favor? Let's go ahead and get you to step out of the vehicle, alrighty? Come on over here. You're not in any trouble right now. So, tell me what's going on.
But she just gets worked up sometimes, and I try and really distance myself from her. So like I lock the car and I walk away from her. What happened this morning is that she's trying to start up like her own little website blog and everything. So I give her time. And we really had a nice morning and everything, but she just got worked up.
Now he just straight up lied and said we had a really nice morning, but it was so nice that someone's calling 911 because you're beating up on your female companion. And she just told the cops that we've been fighting all morning.
Because you're trying to get going and get our day going.
There's like a real lack of communication going on here somewhere between the dispatch and the cops on patrol.
You want to go like guards or something like that.
Okay. You want to tell me about those scratches on your face?
She had a cell phone in her hand. That's why I was pushing her away. Because she wanted me. I locked the keys so I could walk away. I said, let's just take a breather and let's not, go anywhere. Let's just calm down for a minute. She was getting a little worked up, and then she had her phone and was trying to get the keys. So I got away. I was just trying to. I know I shouldn't push, but I was just trying to push her away to go. Let's just take a minute, step back, and breathe. And she got me with her phone.
Can I see your hand? Oh, you got a mark right here.
Oh, that's from a wire.
That's from a wire?
Yeah.
You want to tell me about hitting that curb?
Hitting the curb was her grabbing the wheel.
She grabbed the wheel?
Yeah. She said, I can't believe we're getting pulled over, and then she grabbed the wheel.
What about the speed? Did she take over the...
No, I
over the pedal on you?
If I was going fast, I'm sorry. No, it's probably just the moment of, I'm still shaking now. The adrenaline, seeing the lights flashing up, and then her gripping the wheel. So if I sped up, I'm sorry about that. Or if I was speeding beforehand, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it took quite a bit to catch up to you. So,
yeah. I'm sorry about that. We're just going into the park again to get water because we have a 6-gallon water container to fill up. So we're just grabbing water for the hike. Okay. And I was trying to keep everything calm and quiet because there's plans still to go for a hike. But it's good. I'm really sorry about that.
Of course. Do me a favor. You want to go here on the curve for me?
And if I was speeding, I'm sorry.
I also want to wonder if Gabby was right-handed or left-handed because it looks like most of the scratches on him are on the right side of his face. But there's also no blood on his shirt that I can see. Maybe like one little spot there by his arm, but nope, that's some on my computer screen. Okay. But I'm wondering if she was right-handed or left-handed because a thought that I had when we were watching this last night was that maybe he had already like violently attacked her and she had fought for her life and that's how he got those scratches. But then some kind of way he was able to convince her that or he didn't have her feeling like her life was actually in danger. Maybe she just thought he was just being violent or extra violent. Maybe he was extra aggravated and it'll pass or something.
You don't have anything in my pocket or anything like that, do you?
Nope, just the wallet.
All right. And then, do you mind lifting your shirt so I can check the waistband?
I got
Turn around for me real quick. Perfect.
nothing.
I just want to make sure. That's all, man. Go ahead, do me a favor, take a seat. All right. Oh, do you have your ID on you?
In the car, if you want to come with me.
No, we'll just do this. Just go ahead and take a seat.
You come with me, I'll give it to you.
Oh, you're fine. What's the first name?
Brian?
Brian? Is that layman spelling?
B-R-I-N, yeah, and L-A-U-N.
And then your last name?
L-A-U-N.
L-A-U-N.
D-R-I-E.
D-R-I-E?
Yep.
Laundrie? Mm-hmm. Okay. What's your date of birth, Brian?
I wonder why they like blocked out his date of birth.
I'll say crisscross applesauce, but can I just sit in the shade because I'm bald? No, it's okay. I'll give you some shade. Sound good?
All right, just hang tight for me. SO229. I need a 29 name and date of birth.
Manscaped. Yeah, your balls will thank you.
Okay, so his story, her story, and the 911 caller. I don't see how we get this traffic stop out of the 911 call that was made. it just doesn't add up. Like, in no way, shape, or form, if that was the call that they had and the information that they were working with, this should have never went down like that. Not only should no one have gone to jail, it shouldn't have been a situation where no one went to jail. It should definitely not have been a situation where she was facing charges, because you have an independent witness telling you what happened. So when all these police, they got to know that when you're dealing with a domestic violence situation, couples are going to lie for each other. I mean, even later on in this interaction, in this traffic stop, when they're talking about what to do and how to handle this, the one guy is like, basically, there's no need to put her in jail because he's just going to want to drop the charges anyway. So I don't know. This just listening to that 911 call and seeing this again with new insight. Like, none of this should have ever happened at all. And I know they got the whole primary aggressor thing, and that's really kind of a messed up thing, because with the primary aggressor, okay, that kind of gets to the point where it boils down to the police are making a decision based on who got their butt kicked the worst, not who actually started it, because either of you could have started it. But let's just say I go and I start a fight with my old man, and I know I can't beat him, and I pick a fight and I'm hitting him and slapping him and kicking him, and then he beats the crap out of me. When the cops come, they're going to take him to jail because I'm the one that's beat up the worst. Or vice versa. He picks a fight with me and can't win. I kick his butt and I end up going to jail because I beat him up the worst, but he's the one that started the fight. I don't think they actually look to see or if they can tell who initiated the violence or the dispute that caused them to be out there. So that primary aggressor, man, that stuff is just, I don't think it's productive. And I think they need to come up with a new way of handling domestic violence calls. So Ryan's car got towed today. They searched his house and they ended up taking the silver Mustang this time. I'm wondering why they didn't take it when they were there the first time. Like, why didn't they get a search warrant then? They went in it. They looked for something. They took something out of it. Then again, maybe whatever it is they took out of it or whatever they saw in plain sight is what led to them getting the search warrant or having the probable cause to get the search warrant to tow it today. But the feds and some others, yeah, that's what I was saying. Maybe whatever they saw or whatever when they were there the first time is
Insulin injections can make diabetes
reason
complicated.
to come
Meet
back and take it
Omnipod. It
today.
delivers insulin without daily injections. Just one small.
Welcome back, Fred. Welcome back, Jameson. Yeah, true. Because it's so high profile, they would definitely need, like, that's not the clip that I thought it was. Let me find. But it's such a high-profile case that they're definitely going to need to have their ducks in a row when it comes down to it. Fred, you that mentioned the two missing hikers in Spread Creek last night? Days ago. I'm looking for the one from today, and I think this is it.
We want to get straight to some breaking news right now. We have just learned that the FBI.
But if I don't think they're going to be related to Brian Laundrie, because one of those hikers went missing. I believe it was the beginning of June, and at that time, Brian and Gabby were probably on the road going from Florida to New York, because remember they went to New York on the 17th of June for Gabby's brother's graduation. So I don't see them being in all the way up there in Wyoming and making it to New York in that short amount of time. But let's go ahead and watch this clip. This one is about the search on Brian Laundrie's home today.
Now has a search warrant for the home of Brian Laundrie, the boyfriend of Gabby Petito. Petito has been missing for 6 days. Laundrie returned from the cross-country road trip without her last week over the weekend, and the FBI says they found a body in Wyoming that's consistent with the description of Gabby. Trevor Alt is in Northport, Florida now with all the latest. Trevor, what do we know, first of all, about the search right now?
Well, Kira, that search is ongoing right behind me. This is Brian Laundrie's home. The FBI is in the process of executing what they say is a court-approved search warrant that is tied to the Gabby Petito investigation. And we have been watching agents come in and out of the house, surrounding it with vehicles and taping it all off as well. And we know that Brian Laundrie, on top of him living here, his parents live here too. We have seen the parents at one point taken out of the home, placed into that Dodge Caravan, that van right in front of the front door. Now, we should note they were not in handcuffs, and they only stayed in the van for about 10 minutes before they were welcomed back inside. But this is definitely an escalation and a new development in this case, Kira, because all week we heard from authorities talking about how this was not a criminal investigation. It was two separate missing person cases. But now that we have a body that is likely the body of Gabby Petito, it's certainly within the realm of possibility that that changes this into a criminal investigation, and it's possible that that played a role in the FBI securing the search warrant, Kira.
And Brian Laundrie still missing, correct? And the family has not said anything publicly to this point, but it seems like they are cooperating with authorities right now. As you mentioned, they walked out without handcuffs. They are allowed to go back inside.
Yes, and from the beginning, there's been a very distinctive patterns about how this family speaks with authorities. Neither Brian nor his parents would talk with authorities about the disappearance of Gabby Petito. It wasn't until the family reported Brian was missing on Friday that they talked to the police, and even then, they would only talk about the disappearance of Brian Laundrie. They wouldn't speak about anything else, and the way that the lawyers have spoken, there's nothing to indicate that the family is changing that now that a body has been recovered here. Though they do seem to be cooperating, they're well within their constitutional rights, declining to speak in this capacity. But Brian Laundrie may very well be the key to discovering now what happened to Gabby Petito. And his family tells authorities that they haven't seen him since Tuesday. They said that on Tuesday, he drove that silver Mustang that agent is right behind to this local nature reserve, which is essentially swampland around here. The family says he didn't come home. On Thursday, then they went and retrieve the car, and the day after they reported Brian Laundrie missing. Now, so officials have spent the past 2 days combing through what is really, Kira, tens of thousands of acres of alligator-infested swampland here looking for Brian Laundrie. They brought out drones, they brought out four-wheelers, fan boats, and canine units, but they tell us this morning that those canine units did not pick up the scent of Brian Laundrie anywhere, and they feel they have exhausted all avenues for searching what really is an enormous piece of land that one officer said if a person wanted to, they could spend months in there without ever being found. So there's no search of that nature reserve for Brian Laundrie right now, but it doesn't appear that this is a situation where authorities are packing it up and going home. This is just the latest evolution in the case now that we have likely found the body of Gabby Petito all the way out in Wyoming.
Do we know anything else about that body that was discovered that is likely that of Gabby's, and any word on cause of death?
Well, that's what we're waiting on right now. So as you said, the FBI was very specific in their wording in that it matches the description of Gabby Petito, the body that they recovered, but they don't yet have 100% forensic confirmation. We're expecting to get that tomorrow once the autopsy is complete, and that should also shed some light on the cause of death, but we're still waiting on it right now. However, Kira, while it is not 100% confirmed, the local police department here in Northport essentially said they were very saddened to hear the news that Gabby was deceased. The family has been notified they are behaving as if this were confirmed. So while we're waiting on that match forensically to say that this is in fact Gabby Petito, the big question, as you say, is what is the cause of death? Of course, the investigation then is still going to have to answer a lot of questions if we don't find Brian Laundrie. So there's still, even though we likely know where Gabby Petito was, there's a lot that investigators are going to have to figure out, and that would explain why they're here combing through this home, Kira.
A lot of questions. And as we watch those pictures live behind you, Trevor, we will stay in touch with you as things develop. Do let us know. Trevor Alt, appreciate it. Thanks.
All right. Yeah, Jameson, you made some really good points about that, about past cases where somebody looked like they were absolutely guilty and then they weren't. And I do try to keep an open mind and not really like just be 100%, hey, they did it. Because you never know. I mean, weird things happen every day. You know, things aren't always what they seem. The serial killer thing, friend, I actually think there might be something to that, because when I did look it up, it's not just those two guys that went missing. There was a third hiker that went missing in that same area within a relatively close period of time. And I was like, there might be something to that. But two of them were before Brian was known to have ever been in that area, and then one was after. One was like in August. Now the one in August actually was right around the time when Brian and Gabby were there. But I mean, if that one is tied to the other two, then that still leaves Brian out. Now, one of the questions that I had that I've been thinking about is the parents. And like, I think I said in the description, how far is too far? You know, when do you draw the line with your kid and say, hey, look, I'm not helping you with this. I'm not supporting you on this. You got to do what you got to do and go talk to these people or turn yourself in, because I believe that, because we have so many cases coming to light now where they're finding out, well, they're not finding out about, they already knew, but where they're bringing to light cases of hundreds and in some cases over 1,000 Native American and tribal women who have been murdered, and mass graves, and just, it's crazy. Yeah, yeah. But back to the parents. I mean, I know my kids. There's certain things my kids know they better not do. I mean, not one of my kids better ever come to me and say they killed somebody if it wasn't a life or death situation. They better not come to me and say they, just a lot of things that there's a line that you draw. You have your kids' back. Sometimes even when they're wrong, you have their back publicly and you get on their behind privately, you know, in maybe some smaller issues or depending on the circumstances, but something on the level of this type of suspicion, I bet my son better not leave with a girlfriend and come back alone with her van, and I'm gonna hire him a lawyer. If the first thing I did was hire him a lawyer, that means he told me something that makes me think that he needs some type of legal protection. So what did he tell them? Then for them to say that he's been missing since Tuesday and you're just reporting him missing on a Friday, it was suspicious that under the circumstances with everything that's going on with a missing fiance and this massive surge and you've hired a lawyer, all of a sudden he wants to go camping. Like, if I was in his shoes, whether I was guilty or innocent, the last thing that I'm gonna do is put on a backpack and go camping. Because first, I mean, I don't want to put myself in a situation where I might give the police an opportunity if I'm trying to avoid talking to them. I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm going to give them an opportunity to find a way to talk to me anyway, you know, to get me for jaywalking or being in the park a minute past closing or just anything that they could cook up to have a reason to try to open a line of conversation with me. On top of that, with the way people were crowded outside of his parents' house, chanting, they got signs, they got bullhorns, you know, they were basically, you know, calling for blood out there. If I were him, I wouldn't have left talking about going camping because what if I come across somebody who recognizes my face and who has some type of animosity or feels like that I did something wrong, so they want to hurt me because they think I did something that I may or may not have done. So that whole he went camping and he's been missing since Tuesday. There's something going on with those parents. I mean, and then when you add on top of that, the word is that he left Gabby in Utah to fly alone to Florida, and that him and his father went and moved like Gabby's stuff out of the house and into a storage unit. So I have to wonder if maybe at that point he didn't already have some plan in mind to where he knew Gabby wasn't coming back. And maybe he was trying to set it up to where if anyone comes and looks for her, oh, she doesn't live here anymore. She moved out. You can go look. None of her stuff is here. So I don't know. That whole situation is crazy. I can't say I have any good feelings about what the parents are doing. I mean, but then again, some people just protect their kid. They might not even know anything, but they're just protecting their kid. Because truthfully, if I were in that situation, I would want a lawyer up front if I could afford to get one. Because we've all seen where cops get laser focused, they get tunnel vision, and they go after someone and they just completely ignore any evidence to the contrary. Anything that would say this person is not guilty, not associated, didn't do it, wasn't there, they'll just ignore that because they've already made up in their mind that this person had to be the one who did it. His parents? Oh, Glenn, I'm sorry, Jen, welcome to the chat. I see you're new. Hope you like hanging out with us. Anyway, enjoy. But why would they let him leave Gabby alone for a week? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That whole thing is just odd. Like, if you're on a cross-country road trip with your fiance, why would you come down here and not her? Why would you come alone to move her things out of the house and into storage while she's still however many miles away in Utah? So that's why I feel like, but they specifically said his dad helped him to move that stuff. So I have to feel like there had to be a point where his dad had at least a funny feeling. Yeah, and that goes along with that we broke up alibi. They were saying originally that Gabby and Brian got engaged, but that they broke off the engagement before they left on the trip. So the next logical step is, okay, we just broke up completely. It's just odd. it doesn't sit well with me. Just because, I mean, there's some things that you just do and you don't do. There's right and there's wrong. My old country grandma used to say right is right and wrong is wrong. Exactly. Cold. There was something else I wanted to. I don't have my notes with me. But okay. It's a whole bunch of strange in this case. Like, I don't know. And then there was a big stir online today, if y'all heard about it, where yeah, they need to be, if they know anything, if it turns out that he had something to do with Gabby being hurt or hurt to the point that it led to her death, if they knew anything about it, yeah, they need to be right along with him in whatever jail he's in. Yeah, but in that case, okay, why wouldn't both of them come? If it was something totally above board, like my parents are getting divorced, they need your stuff out of the house, why wouldn't both of them go? It's not like they didn't have a van, or if I'm sure that it could have been paid for both of them to fly. That's a good question for Jameson. Yeah, I mean, any kind of way that they would try to explain that or justify that, it just doesn't make sense to, it's like it doesn't make common sense. And it could be a thing where, okay, well, we don't have the money to fly both of us or to pay for gas down there and then come back and start our trip. It could be tensions are so high between his parents that it would be extremely uncomfortable or inappropriate for her to go by herself, so he went by himself. It could turn out a lot of ways, but just on the surface, it doesn't sit well. I was just about to pull up something and lost my whole train of thought just that quick. Oh, Alabama. There was a whole lot of noise. Yeah, you would think that her parents would have some type of other additional input or knowledge of some situation if that was the case. Yeah, you're right. They never saw Brian in her FT video. What is FT? FaceTime. Oh, they never saw her. Okay, well, that's possible too. Yeah, you have to forgive me. I'm a diehard Android user. I do have an Apple device, but I just use it for games. So it could be that Brian's parents were against Gabby for whatever reason. Maybe they felt like she was flighty since she quit her job to travel across country, hoping to promote a website and a like van life blogging. But then again, I mean, you have to wonder. It was her van, it was her blog, it was her father that was sending them Uber Eats. So maybe she had at least the financial stability to be able to take that risk. he didn't even have a job, and his lie was he doesn't even have a phone. And phones are cheap. I mean, right now I could point you in the direction to go get monthly service for like $30. I don't think she was alone like that because her family seems to love her dearly and to be very supportive of her. I mean, just look at her family, her father, or was it her stepfather? But look at the way her parents were on the news as compared to, say, Summer Wells. I mean, they were on there holding pictures, begging, pleading, crying, sending letters to specific people. You know, they're doing everything they can to get her back from the minute that they realize, you know, hey, something's up. And I saw where True. And I actually prefer it, and I said that about the Summer Wells case. I prefer it when law enforcement doesn't like go telling everything that they know, when they can find a way to hold some stuff back, because in the day and age now of this Freedom of Information Act and people feeling the need to have immediate full access to everything, I don't even see how law enforcement can solve a crime in most cases because they can't even keep an ace in the hole. They can't hold anything back to pin somebody down because they got to give it all to the public. So I applaud them whenever they can hold something back and have something, a card that they can play, a trump card or whatever. I applaud them. If I wasn't so suspicious of the Hawkins County sheriff, then I would applaud him for how he has really kept a tight lip in the Summer Wells case. What defense would you say, Jameson? Let me see if I can guess. He's going to claim self-defense by the police having charged her with domestic violence and claim and decided that she was the primary aggressor. He's gonna say that after that incident, she attacked him again. They got into a fight. She accidentally got hurt to the point of death or serious injury or whatever. He got scared because he didn't want people to think that he killed her on purpose after they had had a public falling out. Am I close? I'm gonna pull up this article. They were going crazy on the internet today because yeah, but he might not know that that's what came through on the original 911 call. Because apparently the police didn't know that either. Otherwise, they would have knew that they would have never went there and just automatically assumed that she was the primary aggressor. So if the cops didn't know that, then he wouldn't know that either. Me either, Jameson. I don't believe that that's what happened, but I could see him trying to use that as like a defense. But was I close to your theory? Was I almost there? Yeah, there was definitely a breakdown in communication there. But if you listen to the 911 call and you hear that 911 caller's tone, he was so dismissive, as if, you know, the caller were somehow getting on his nerve just by calling 911. It's like, well, what are they doing? Where are they at? What's going on? You know, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he was having a bad day or something, but buddy, when a job like that, you can't be having a bad day and being dismissive, because his dismissive attitude on the original 911 call could very well have led to this young lady losing her life. Well, kind of, friend, but you mean he wouldn't have, in the hypothetical that he's claiming that she got hurt in a fight that she instigated, right? Why would he not go back for the van? Yeah, they do. They all sound like something's going. I don't know. Okay, come on. Where is it? Here we go. You think so? Well, yeah, because a lot of it is not going to be admissible in court. A lot of the information that we have access to. You know, with this being such a high profile case, how do you think that'll affect it when and if this ever comes to trial? Like, how do you think that the effect that would have on a jury? Because I think that with so much high publicity and internet and access or whatever, we've seen where that high publicity has had both negative and positive effects on the outcome of trials. Because that's just how it works in domestic violence situation. I mean, yeah, definitely none of us will be allowed on the jury. But I mean, that's just how it is in domestic violence situation. And having been in violent relationships and being on the other side of that now, and I can look back and I can see how the dynamics worked. You know, you don't really feel like, it's hard to explain, but can you imagine that the person whom you feel the safest around, because this person will defend you to no end in any situation, but that's also the person that you fear the most because that's the very person who might go too far and take your life? It's a crazy thing, and I don't even having experienced it firsthand, I really don't even have the words to explain how it works when you're in that type of relationship, and the dynamics and the feelings and the reasons that you do things that you do. But because once you're on the other side of it, you look back and you're like, really? I did that? I said that? I acted that way? I let that slide? I defended that? And then also, if you're in a relationship with an abuser, abusers have a way of, there's a lot of emotional manipulation there. There's a lot of gaslighting there. There's a lot of apologies and promises and insinuated promises. So, and when the cops pulled them over, yeah, they're master manipulators. When the cops pulled them over, and she obviously lied for him, saying that, oh, it was me, I was hitting him, I was beating him, I did this, I did that. That's a prime example of how that dynamic works. I can only imagine if indeed he was the abuser in the relationship. Since we don't really know for a fact, I'm gonna still say if he was abusing her, then she would almost feel obligated to protect him. He would have her in such a mindset that she would feel helpless without him. Yeah, we don't know. He could have said that when they were pulling up. Or he could have just given her a look and she knew what it meant. Yeah, I believe my honest belief about this situation is they were both abusive in some way. One may have been more physical abusive and one may have been more mental and emotional abusive, but they were both very abusive and they were very codependent. Yeah, a pressure cooker just waiting to go off. Oh, what is going on here? Well, I was trying to pull up this article. I guess, yeah, this is it. So there was a big hype today on the internet because apparently someone said that the police in Tillman's Corner, Alabama, if you're not familiar with that, is relatively close to Mobile, Alabama, which is about 45 minutes north of Pensacola, Florida. Well, apparently someone is saying that the police came into wherever it is that they worked and were wanted to see their surveillance video, saying that they had a report that Brian Laundrie had been spotted in Tillman's Corner, Alabama. And so they were looking for him. Apparently they could not find what they were looking for on that video, and they told them they were going up to the firehouse tomorrow. I don't know if they meant like a fire station or firehouse subs, but they were going up to the firehouse tomorrow to check out their CCTV, and that they would be back when they had a better idea of the time frame that they were looking for concerning Brian Laundrie. Well, that developed into apparently he had been seen hitchhiking in the area and he had gotten a ride with someone and they dropped him off near the Walmart in Tillman's Corner. And then a body was found near the dumpster of the Walmart in Tillman's Corner. And just from what I've said, we all know how the internet can take something and blow it up so that, a little cherry bomb becomes an A bomb. And my browser is freezing. Come on. Unfreeze so we can read this article. Long story short, the body was not him. Now that's a good possibility, Michael, that he just snapped. And I'm just gonna tell you, he looked like the type to snap. And I know they say you can't look at somebody and tell certain things, but you can look at some people and tell certain things. And he looked like the type that should have been on medication and he probably snapped. Yeah, that's the crazy part because when they came to the house the first time when they went in and they were saying that they were there just to talk to the parents or whatever, they were saying that they specifically said Brian is in a place that we know where he is. They said that. So maybe they were just trying to project some something to the public. And now that statement came to bite them in the behind because they really never knew where he was. The police, law enforcement said that they knew where Brian was. And it was only hours later or the next day that they put out this all-out manhunt for him because they didn't know where he was. So really, if you ask me, both of them are lying somewhere, the police and the parents. The parents are probably lying about what they know about what happened to Gabby and that just whole incident, whether it was an accident, intentional, or what. So I think they're lying about what they know because I feel like that, and God forbid, I already know my mind wouldn't do it, but I feel like if any of my kids was to come home with a fabulous story like what he had to have come home with, first of all, they would have told me about it because who do you go to when you find yourself in a situation where you don't know what to do? You go to your parents. Not yet, but they're doing the autopsy tomorrow. And then that doesn't, even if they don't have solid, like hard, tangible evidence, they could still possibly charge him because there's a lot to be said for circumstantial evidence. And a lot of circumstantial evidence is admissible in court. Jameson, you still in here? You want to tackle some of this? But yeah, I mean, there's a case that I'm going to do a video on, and I would really like for y'all to watch it right now. There was a young man in my hometown who went missing in the mid 90s. He left home with some air quotes friends, and they were supposed to be going out to a club in the next city over. Well, everybody made it home but him. And that was almost 20 years ago. The whole family, everybody in town, everybody knew who did it and what had been done, but there was no hardcore proof. But right now, they have 3 people sitting in the jail. One is on a capital murder charge. The other 2 are on just like first-degree murder or something like that, awaiting trial for his death. They still don't have a body, though. All they had was like one spot of blood in a car that they were eventually able to find. So even without a body and a ton of evidence, it's possible for them to prosecute him if they can just put together enough. Okay, the webpage loaded. So this is the story of how Brian Laundrie was not in Tillman's Corner, Alabama, and he is not dead in Tillman's Corner, Alabama. Mobile police confirmed to WKRG News 5 that the body found near the Tillman's Corner Walmart is not that of Brian Laundrie. Laundrie is a person of interest in the disappearance of Gabby Petito, whose body was found Saturday at Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. On Monday, FBI agents and police swarmed the home he shared with his parents in Northport, Florida. Petito had disappeared during a cross-country trip with Laundrie. A cause of death hasn't yet been determined. Petito and Laundrie left in July in a converted van, but Laundrie returned to Florida alone September 1st. It's funny, nobody's mentioning his trip back to Florida in the middle of their road trip across country. Not really. He has been named a person of interest but has disappeared. A search of a Florida park turned up nothing. Posts on social media have been circulating that Laundrie could have possibly been spotted in Alabama. Mobile police are following up on those tips. Mobile police confirmed a body has been found near Tillman's Corner Walmart. And this is like reverse chronology on this article, because when they updated on this particular news website, they stack it on top of the original posts. So the original story was the Mobile Police Department is investigating a crime scene near Tillman's Corner Walmart. Crime scene tape is up, and a dumpster behind the Verizon store. WKRG News 5 is reaching out to MPD for more information. This one doesn't have the they spoke to an employee, but anyway, it's out there. All you have to do is Google it and you'll see it. They spoke with someone at a business around Tillman's Corner, and this is the person who went on to tell them about how he was supposedly spotted and he was hitchhiking and got a ride by the Walmart, and then there was a body found there. So then it blew up to Brian Laundrie is dead in behind Walmart in Tillman's Corner, Alabama. So yeah, that was just a rumor that I wanted to put to bed, because when I went on this news station's Facebook page, they had like 238,000 views on this post about Brian Laundrie possibly being dead behind Walmart in Tillman's Corner. This particular news station never has triple digit 100,000 views on anything. I don't think you could pull together 25 of their posts and get 238,000 views. So that spoke volumes, and you had people commenting on this from like all across the nation. So it was a big thing. But he is not indeed dead in Tillman's Corner. Well, I think we kind of talked about everything that I wanted to talk about. I really wanted to talk about the car being towed, about just my questions about his parents, and that's pretty much it. And the 911 call, that was the most important thing. We did go over that, and I still think that is just really crazy how he could slip through the cracks like that. Yeah, that's true. Oh, I'm not in any hurry, Michael. If you want to talk, we can talk. No, I did it. Matter of fact, let me go to that website again. Now this one that I'm using is only like for Florida warrants. It's the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, so it's only going to pull up warrants that he has in Florida. Now, if for some reason Wyoming or Utah or any other state puts out a warrant for his arrest, it won't show up where I'm looking right now. It'll only show if he has a warrant or a warrant in Florida for something. Which chances are, with the way all this is happening, Florida will probably put an arrest warrant on him as a means of helping to facilitate getting him in custody. Because I'm going to tell you, Florida will do you. Florida law enforcement does not play. If there's a way that if you did something and it's a way that they can get you, they're going to get you. Yeah, we listened to that earlier in the broadcast. Yeah, and that guy was really, we were talking about how that guy was really plain and clear about who did what. Seven, 3, go. And he doesn't have anything, neither him nor anyone with the last name Laundrie at this point has a warrant in Florida, issued by Florida. Let's see if he's still listed as a missing person. He is still listed as a missing person, though. Yeah, the 911 call is definitely an example of bad police work. Like, that's a whole lack of communication. Somebody dropped the ball really badly there. And you're right. There really isn't any solid proof that he even came back to Florida. I don't think anybody outside of his family has actually seen him. And if his lawyer, if his attorney was hired but never actually saw Brian face to face, it's not like he's going to tell us. That week to get away, yeah, that's a major head start. He could have been in Mexico in a matter of days. What arrest warrant, Fran? Fran, are you saying there's an arrest warrant for Brian somewhere? I think they're going to make the movie for this right after they make the movie for about Summer Wells. This one will probably take the award though, because everybody in Summer Wells' case is bad actors. The dad, the mom, the grandma, the neighbors, everybody over there in Hawkins County guilty. Oh, okay, yeah. Check on that, please. Yeah, and his sister Cassie did that interview with Good Morning America, and her whole body language was off. Like, everything she said was basically a bunch of word soup and really didn't mean anything, didn't really say anything. It was just sound. And her body language and like the look in her face and in her eyes was just completely off. So if she's any type of representation of the family and how they are, then I can't put much stock in the parents saying that he even came back there. You're right. It could have been someone else. Of course it's money. It's for the views. It's for the likes and shares on social media. And I guarantee you right now, if something else were to happen, if something else were to pop off that seemed like it had a little more twist to it, then the media and most of the big YouTube channels would all drop this, push it to the side, and do an about face and focus on whatever this new thing was. For the same reason that they were hooked on Summer Wells' case. Search warrant. Okay. For the same reason that they were hooked on Summer Wells' case. And when Gabby's case came, if you go back and you look, do a YouTube search for Summer Wells videos, and you'll see where people were posting about Summer Wells daily, multiple times a day, new videos, hours long. I saw somebody do 24 hours worth of live stream about the Summer Wells case, and there was absolutely no new information. We all know that law enforcement hasn't said anything in Summer's case in a long time. But as soon as Gabby Petito's case came and it was the hot new topic, if you do that same search, you'll see where suddenly Summer Wells' name wasn't popping like that. So even with this case, that's the reason that they're hooked on it. It's the hot topic. It's what's going on right now. It's what's going to get them the clicks and the views and the likes and the shares. And it's the same way with the mainstream media. It's not just the YouTube thing. It's mainstream media too. They got to get the ratings if they want to make the money that they're making. I think with the general public that people are hooked on this case and Summer's case and other cases like it, because I just think as humans, as people, on some level, we all believe that people aren't born bad. And so when we see the things that we see in the news lately, these horrific murders, killings, kidnappings, rapes, the terrible things that parents do to their children and children do to their parents, and we're sitting there as normal human beings and we're like, how in the world did you even think to do something like that to someone that you say you love? How could you possibly do that to a child that you carried, or this person who you raised a family with? And so we get fixated on it because you're trying to understand where this madness came from. The media always has an agenda. They always have an agenda that they're trying to push in whatever news they cover, whether it's political, whether it's crime news, whatever. They always have an agenda. Yeah, there are. Every day someone is killed. Every day someone goes missing. And not all cases get the same coverage. And that's what I'm saying. It's because of the level of drama or whatever it is, the morbid curiosity. The worse the case, the better it is for like media, because it's what's going to draw people in to watch their videos, to read their news articles. True, true. I believe that's true. Yeah, and I actually think that the Moab couple is is should be the ones that are getting all the publicity, because they're saying it's totally unrelated to whatever is going on with Brian and Gabby. So then the question becomes, who in the heck killed two women who were camping out in the middle of nowhere, and why? I mean, and in a small town, that's a small town. I mean, with this case, we know we can basically figure out what happened. This was a toxic couple. One thing led to another. It escalated. One of them ended up dead. And I won't lie, I had that thought a little bit at the beginning that maybe they were pulling some kind of stunt to like get shares and likes or whatever, since she was trying to start out this blog, this website, her Instagram and social media or whatever. I mean, because she even mentioned it to the cops. She was like, I'm trying to start my website, I'm trying to build my website. And what better way to get famous than to have some high profile drama? So I thought at the first it might have been a possibility too. And it's really sad that I would actually have rather it turned out that that's what it was. It's sad that it turned out to be what it is. Honestly, Fran, if he had any sense, he wouldn't be looking at anything. I will try. I'm not really a sleuther like that. Like, I'm sure I can learn, and I'll work on trying to find some sources and like resources, because I'm sure it's public record. But I'm not really a sleuther like that. I mean, I started the channel because I'm just really into true crime, and then I always feel like only certain people, kind of like what Michael was saying, only certain people really get the attention in the news, and then some people are just kind of thrown to the side because for whatever reason, we tend to see on the news, it's the pretty kid, it's the beautiful, she used to be a beauty queen, it's the rich guy or whatever. But then you have everyday people like those two women out there in Moab, and then it's like, oh, they're not worth any attention. They're not worth being their story being told. If he killed her by accident and he's hiding. Well, I said that if it was an accident, if he accidentally caused harm to her in any way, he's probably scared crapless because of the circumstances before. I mean, they had the cops called on him, this, that, and the other thing. Da, 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 da. People are gonna assume that he did it, like everybody's assuming that he did something to her. So if he actually anything that happened was an accident or wasn't his fault, then that's probably what he's thinking. He's probably thinking he's gonna go to jail for the rest of his life for something that he really didn't like intentionally do. Yeah, he got a strange vibe about him. He does. But then again, now I think one of their friends. I'll have to go back and rewatch the video. So don't put a whole lot of stock in this. This is rumor. But I think one of their friends said that they both smoke weed, which could have a lot to do with them acting weird in front of the cops or him acting weird in front of the cops. So, oh, thank you. Thank you. I shall try. Yeah, I'm not trying to be some pro, some expert like I know everything. Some things are just common sense, you know? You look at stuff and it's just common sense. Yeah, he would. If he's scared, I still want to know if he had a gun or if he had access to a gun. Did his parents own a gun? Did Gabby own a gun? Because for some reason, I still can't get the Moab women out of my head, and the fact that it was a creepy guy. They were in the same area. They were probably both at the co-op at the same time. It's likely that maybe one of those women made a 911 call too. You know, and if they were camping relatively closely or close enough for them to have interaction to where those women thought of him as some creepy guy, you know, the fact that whether or not he had a gun or access to one could be important. And then also when they give out the cause of death for Gabrielle, then it's gonna play a lot into my thinking. If she had gunshot wounds, then I think absolutely law enforcement is gonna have to reevaluate their decision that the two cases aren't related. Yeah, I tell you what, next time I go live, then we can pull that up and look at it. It's in the first few minutes of that video, but I just kind of want to get I've been on here like 2 hours, so I kind of want to get off. But he told them he didn't have a cell phone. Then he went in the van and he got Gabby's cell phone and gave it to them. But then after he had given them Gabby's cell phone, he ended up pulling a phone out of his pocket and giving the police his phone number. But yeah, he started out saying he didn't have a phone. I don't know. It's a crazy case. Maybe some of it can be explained. Maybe when it all boils down to it and we hear like the details or whatever, some of it will actually make sense. Yeah, and I'm thinking, okay, hypothetically, let's say he was the one that killed the Moab couple. It would be because they saw him and could recognize him. And maybe they said something to him about whatever was going on at the co-op that day. Huh? On Nancy Grace? Well, I don't understand. Jocelyn, I don't understand what you mean. Well, Well, friend, I think maybe they could because they would have called him creepy because I know people that I recognize their face. I've seen their face, but I think they're creepy or weird or something. And then by them recognizing him and having seen his face, that wouldn't make the person that they were talking to recognize the guy. Or, I mean, they could have called 911 on him and not even known his name. So whoever they were talking to, even if they knew his name and said, hey, Brian's creepy, the person wouldn't have had any idea who Brian was. Oh, that's cool. Jocelyn, email me. All my contact information is in the About section on my channel page, but it's misssavagesays@gmail.com. I would love to help get the word out there and get the missing people's face out there just to keep their story going. Okay, I think I see what you meant now. Yeah, well, we already know that the media tends to not publicize cases of missing children who are of color or ethnic, but ain't a whole lot we can do about that. I mean, it's the truth and it's jacked up, but none of us owns a network. That's why we come here. So that we can speak for the people who the mainstream media doesn't deem worthy to get the attention. Yeah. And that's cool. Feel free to speak here, friend. Say whatever you need to say. Because, I mean, as long as we're sharing our ideas, then maybe we'll figure something out. But I will try to find out what I can about like looking up search warrants but they said that was the FBI that did that search warrant, and if it's federal, I know it's hard as heck to get those. Like if it were like police or sheriff or something like that, it might be a whole lot easier. But feds, man, yeah, good luck with that. I'm gonna have to leave that to somebody with a whole lot more skill than me. I just thought about that. Yeah, they said that was the FBI that led that search. But Jocelyn, email me and maybe we can figure out how you can use my platform to publicize and get your missing people's faces and names and information out there. I got a whole Facebook page for this YouTube channel that I set up only so that I could have Facebook Messenger because somebody asked me about it, you know. So there's a whole Facebook page up there that could be dedicated to missing people in Georgia for your organization. I mean, I ain't using it. Well, I have enjoyed you guys. I am going to get off of here, get a little dinner in. I'm going to work on doing something that would be like easily accessible. I'm thinking something like Google Docs because you don't have to have any kind of software for that, and it's free, and anybody with the link could just go and look at it. We're learning together, so I will figure it out, but I will get a timeline put together and post it somewhere where everyone can see it. Don't forget, I did publish the Facebook page. As Miss Savage says, I published a Discord server so that we can talk about some other things and without as many restrictions as we have on YouTube and Facebook, because there are some deeper level conversations that I want to have, and I want us to have the freedom to have those conversations, and also on a free platform, because I don't want to do like Patreon or something and you got to pay to talk or whatever. That's stupid. So all of that information, if you go to the About section of my channel page, at the bottom, you will see the links for social media that I have up right now. So Facebook, Messenger, and Discord are all listed there. Also on the Facebook channel, on the Facebook page, there are links where you can send me messages on WhatsApp if you use WhatsApp. There's also the WhatsApp phone number if you want to text. I won't be accepting phone calls, but I will answer text messages on WhatsApp. So thank you everybody for joining me. Good night. Y'all take it easy, get some rest, and just relax your mind. See y'all next time.